Welcome back, I'm Ken, and this is Inside the Toon. Eddie's held his press conference ahead of the game against Bournemouth at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Let's see what he had to say. Eddie was asked about the reasons for the side's poor form and the risks to the project. He said, I think there's a host of reasons. I know everyone wants one simple explanation, and then for me to go away and fix it, but I think it's multifactored. I don't want to sit here and give excuses. If you try and explain something, it is perceived as excuses. We haven't done it. We need to try and do it, and we still have enough games to make a difference to our league standing. So looking at the poor form ahead of the game against Bournemouth, we've scored before half-time in 19 games, producing 24 first-half goals in total. And that means we found the net before the break in 59% of the league fixtures, which underlines how often we start on the front foot. It's a strong indicator of Newcastle's attacking intent, fast starts, and the ability to create pressure early, even if some of those matches later slip away. And across these fixtures, we've netted 24 first-half goals, underlying our attacking threat before the break. The list includes big results, narrow defeats, and away performances, which show this trend is carried across different types of matches. Even in games that we went on to lose, Newcastle often struck early, proving they can create danger quickly and consistently. Eddie started the press conference speaking about the poor form, and he was asked questions related to this. He said, yeah, we need that winning feeling back. It's been too long. We're desperate to win and play well. This week we've had a mix of emotions. We had the disappointing result against Palace, and there was a bit of anger, all those emotions, which can be really positive for you, so we tried to use them. There haven't been too many smiling faces around the training ground, but I think the feeling is one of steady determination to put it right. It's been a strange year in terms of the Premier League table. It's been very tight all season. We need a run of wins that we've needed all season. The biggest difference has been the lack of consistency. We're in a difficult period, but we can still end up with a really successful season, so that has to be our aim. When asked about Bruno in this weekend, he said there is a chance he could play. We've seen him in training, and he's pushing really hard to be back involved. The medical team are trying to hold him back. I say hold him back. They're always that tug because the player is desperate to play, and I love that with Bruno. I'll make a decision based on what I see in training today, but there is a chance. Get in. Eddie closed in saying that the fire is still burning very, very strongly. After being asked about his future at the club, I just want to serve the club and do the right for the football club. That's always been my aim. If that's me leaving to help the club, then of course that's something I'll do. I got no issue doing that. It's not about me, but if I believe I'm the right person to take the club forward, which I do currently right now, then I'll do that and I'll fight to the end. I'll fight harder than I've ever fought before, but it's about making sure that those two things are aligned. For the project to stay on track, we need to qualify for Europe in whatever form it might be. I'm now targeting 7th, and we're 5 points behind Brentford. But if we don't win this match, then I think it's all over personally. I don't see us getting into Europe next season. Is that a positive so that we can restructure, lose some of the older players, lose some of the players that are just not up to it anymore, and replace them with better players? But we're going to have to wait and see. The table still offers us a chance, but it's a very slim one in my view. So that's a wrap. That was Eddie's press conference review. I'm Ken, and this is Inside the Toon. Next up will be your Matchday programme. and predictions. Hello and welcome, I'm Ken, and this is Inside the Toon. Newcastle take on Bournemouth in the Premier League on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff, and this is your match day programme. Eddie Howe continues to have the backing of the board. Newcastle board remain firmly behind Eddie, reinforcing their confidence in his leadership during a pivotal stage of the season. Despite mounting pressures, the project is at risk. Howe continues to command internal trust as he strives to steer Newcastle back towards sustained success and progress, and a European campaign for next season. It was 7 games to save the project before Palace, and now it's 6 games. And then we're going to take a look at how that might be achieved or not. The big picture is that Newcastle have been far too inconsistent. The wins at Chelsea and Manchester United show there is still quality in the side, but defeats to Everton, Sunderland and Palace have badly hurt momentum. 4 losses in 6 is the real concern, especially with pressure building in the run-in. We're inconsistent, we're fragile and we're under pressure. Newcastle's league form is wobbling at the worst possible time. 2 strong wins have been cancelled out by 4 damaging defeats, and the margin for error is now gone. The quality is there, but the consistency is not. Bournemouth head to St James's Park in steady form, unbeaten in their last 6 Premier League matches. A surprise 2-1 win at Arsenal gave them real momentum, while 5 draws on the spin before that showed how tough they are to beat. They're not blowing teams away, but they are organised, disciplined and difficult to break down. Newcastle will need patience, intensity and better cutting edge to stop Bournemouth frustrating them on Saturday afternoon. So the Cherries manager is leaving at the end of the season. It's been announced. This could cut both ways. I think for the players, some might relax and think I'll wait for the new coach to come in. Others will take it on a personal note and want to do the best they can, irrespective of that, and especially for their outgoing manager. My read is this: Bournemouth are likely to be dangerous in the short term, not weaker. These situations often produce a one last push mood for a few games, especially with a coach the players clearly respect. Newcastle should expect a team that is structured, motivated, and keen to prove the group is bigger than one announcement. Looking at the injury and suspensions list, first of all, Newcastle. Both the Brazilians are going to be out. Joe Linton with his two match suspension following 10 yellow cards. The last one was at Palace, which was unlucky, but 10 cards. Bruno, still recovering from his illness, his mumps. Prior to that, it was his leg injury. In fact, Fabian Schär out for probably most of the season, no doubt now. Bournemouth have 3 players out injured, Kluivert, Cook and Sola. For the project to stay on track, we need to qualify for Europe in whatever form it might be. I'm now targeting 7th, and we're 5 points behind Brentford. But if we don't win this match, then I think it's all over personally. I don't see us getting into Europe next season. Is that a positive so that we can restructure, lose some of the older players, lose some of the players that are just not up to it anymore, and replace them with better players? But we're going to have to wait and see. The table still offers us a chance, but it's a very slim one in my view. Thank you for watching. Next up will be the predictions video in this match series against Bournemouth at home. I'm Ken and this is Inside the Toon. So it's prediction time. Newcastle play Bournemouth tomorrow, and here's my team that I'd like to see starting and my predicted score. So my team is going to be Ramsdale, Livramento, Chow, Botman, Hall. The same back five that faced Palace and crumbled in the second half. Total collapse. But it was a team that collapsed, not just the defence. Then I got Miley coming back from his injury. I'd like to see him start. If Bruno's fit, then obviously I'd put him in. If he's not fit, I'd play Ramsey with Joe Linton being suspended. And then Sandro Tonali. He's a world-class player. He just needs a bit of luck following the disappointing performance at Palace. Up front, I've got Elanga. I wouldn't have Murphy near the team at the moment after his confidence was shot at Palace. And then Asula, I've kept him. He scored a goal last week. Eddie doesn't seem to have any faith in Visser or Voltemada, and I'll go with that. And then Gordon. Now, Gordon's an interesting one. Barnes is just as good, but Gordon's scored the goals and can be a game changer, just like Barnes, so it's a toss-up. But Gordon's also one of those that potentially, because of the financial situation, might be sold in the summer, according to Craig Hope of the Daily Mail. It's not something I want to see, but if the numbers don't add up, then we're going to have to sell somebody in the summer, no doubt. My predicted score is 2-2. I'd love to. My heart says Newcastle win 3-2, 1-0, 2-1. I don't really care. However, Bournemouth are not going to be an easy side in any shape or form, and they have quite an attacking force again this season. Newcastle, they do have goals in them, especially in the first half. Watch one of my recent videos and you'll understand why. Now, Keith Downey has framed this as a huge game, a crossroads, and obviously if we do draw, then Europe is fading into the distance, and the huge summer will involve Newcastle selling, no doubt. That's what we're being told. So Howe's future isn't settled. He does have the support of the CEO, David Hopkinson, and Ross Wilson, the new sporting director. Howe still wants to fight on. He said that in his press conference. He's got fire in his belly and it's burning. So he's currently the right man to take the club forward. Does Anthony Gordon go in the summer? There's a real chance, apparently, according to the journalist. With no Champions League football next season, most likely, it does suggest that we're going to have to sell. So a win would be great. Obviously, Livramento and Tonali are also mentioned in dispatches for being sold or being sold for big money. And we have a number of priorities with the team evolving and changing as some of the old guard leave, and we're going to need some new guard, no doubt. So let's win this one for Newcastle. Let's hope I'm wrong with my prediction of 2-2, and we go on and win, and we're still challenging with 5 games left to get a European spot. Eddie Howe's named his team, and he's made some big calls. So let's take a look, shall we? Bournemouth at home. Hello, I'm Ken. This is Inside the Toon. Eddie's named his team and made a couple of big calls, I think. Ramsdale in goal. Back defence is Hall, Chow, Botman, and Livramento. Midfield of Ramsey, Miley, and Tonali. Up front, leading the attack is William Asula. Elanga's on the right and Barnes on the left. No Gordon even on the bench, so there's rumours going around about why that is. I've got nothing confirmed, so I'm not going to say a word. On the bench, we've got Pope, Trippier, Visser, Jacob Murphy, Big Nick, Willock, Byrne, Alex Murphy, and Bruno. Bruno is back. Get in. So, exciting afternoon coming up one way or another. Let's hope it's in our favour this time. Bournemouth come off of winning recently away to Arsenal, so they're in really good form. And yeah, tough one really. Just as a footnote, Eddie Howe has won 82 of his 173 Premier League games in charge of Newcastle. Drawing 37 and losing 54, he's just one short of the record for Newcastle in the competition of 83 wins for Sir Bobby in 188 games and 83 wins for Kevin Keegan in 162. So there you go. Let's see if he can get that one more win that he needs. Half time, and the sun has got his hat on. Unfortunately, Newcastle are losing 1-0 to Bournemouth at home. So, leading up to the match, Eddie Howe was interviewed on Sky Sports, and he confirmed that Anthony Gordon picked up a slight injury during training this week and therefore was unavailable. He also confirmed that Bruno was on the bench and most likely would not get any minutes today. So Bournemouth started on the front foot, had a corner in the 3rd minute, and then we had a good move in the 5th minute with Elanga finding Usula. Usula did a couple of step overs, as we know he can do, and he found Barnes, who then shot, but it just went wide. 8th minute, Tonali, left-footed shot from the right-hand side of the box is blocked. And 10th minute, then Bournemouth had a very similar attempt, but that one went high and wide. Worry in the 19th minute is Botman was caught in the face by an elbow. You could say it was an accident, or you could say it's one of those professional things. And by now, we're defending more than we're attacking, to be honest. Bournemouth are on top. We had 3 shots to their 5 by about the 27th minute. Ball-wise, we had 48% of the ball. Unfortunately, in the 32nd minute, a goal to Bournemouth. They attacked, Hall backed off. The other defenders also backed off. And it was a very simple goal to score from near range for Bournemouth to take the lead. 40th minute, it could have been 2-0 to Bournemouth. Big chance, big miss, and we're relieved. Newcastle came to life after that, and shot from Ramsey in the 42nd minute close. 43rd minute, we get a free kick. Hall takes it, nearly scores. Great attempt and a great save, to be honest. And then Chow followed it up, and the right-footed shot from very close range is blocked. 2 minutes of added time. Nothing exciting to talk about at that point, and it's half-time. You can see from the attack momentum chart, it's all blue. All blue means Bournemouth and not Newcastle. Even though we've had 52% of the ball, our expected goals are 0.47. Big chances 0, shots 5 to their 8, and 1 save each. A lot to do in the second half. I'm not sure whether we're going to be up to this, to be honest. If Bournemouth get another goal, it could be a riot, as the Kaiser Chiefs would say. Newcastle leave empty-handed from St James's Park, having lost 2-1 to Bournemouth at home. Another defeat, and we just can't beat Bournemouth in the league while Eddie Howe is manager. And this is how it happened in the second half. Lewis Hall did not come out for the second half. Kieran Trippier replaced him. I don't know if there was an injury or whether it was tactical. I'm sure we'll find out in the next day or so. In the 54th minute, Elanga was pushed to the ground in the box. The ref and VAR were not interested. If only, and there was a good chance on it at that point as well. 60th minute, Miley, good ball to Elanga, who lost it. 62nd minute, the crowd cheered up because Bruno came on, along with Murphy, and Ramsey and Elanga went off. Bournemouth responded with 2 substitutions. 68th minute, Bruno drives forward and finds Sula with a great pass, and the ball is put in the net. Brilliant finish. And then VAR intervenes. Is Sula offside? Apparently he was level and therefore off. Great move by both players. Upon inspection by VAR, it turns out Bruno didn't have the last touch. It was a Bournemouth player. Therefore, Sula's onside and the goal is given. 1-1. Get in. Newcastle are back in this match at this point. Dan Burn came on and replaced Tino Livramento, who went off injured. So that one looks serious as well. So that's Hall and Livramento both off injured. Both are young fullbacks. We just don't get a break, really. Well, not a lucky one. Murphy shoots in the 79th minute and hits the Gallagate somewhere. Didn't hit the net or target. 82nd minute, Scott fouls Murphy, a nasty one by the Cherry, and he's booked. For a minute, I thought he'd been booked in the first half and therefore would go off, but no, he wasn't booked in the first half. Hey-ho. 85th minute, and Bournemouth score again. A very good move by them and a simple final touch to get it in the net. Were we backing off? Possibly. Were we a bit missing of a couple of midfield players getting back? Probably. But overall, Bournemouth deserved this goal. 86th minute, Tonali is subbed and on comes Big Nick for about 5 minutes. And the formation becomes 4-4-2. Barnes cuts in and is tackled. It's just not been his day. 9 minutes of added time, in which time there was a couple of great save by their keeper from a Bruno attempt. And then a massive chance for Big Dan Burn, who headed over when, if he could have just headed it down, it would have bounced into the net, no doubt. Bournemouth goalie booked for time wasting and another sub or two. However, the referee decides the 9 minutes are enough. Doesn't add any time on for the time wasting, and Newcastle lose 2-1 to Bournemouth. Eddie Howe and Newcastle cannot beat Bournemouth in the Premier League, and that's a fact. A quick look at the stats. We'll dive into this in the final word report tomorrow at some point. Tap momentum. You can see the green in the second half. Newcastle did do better than they did in the first half. The big however is that Bournemouth got the goal. Their XG overall was 3 for the match, and ours was 1.65. They had 4 big chances, we had 2. They deserved it, to be honest. 12 shots each, 1 save for us and 2 for them. So maybe we could have got a 2-2 out of this. That was my prediction, to be honest. Corner count for Newcastle was really low today. Normally it's about 7 or 8, but today it was 2. Foul-wise, it was even, 11 for us and 12 for them. So it's not to be, and it's extremely disappointing. We go to Brighton next. We go to Arsenal next, then we got Brighton at home. Really need to get something out of those 2 matches. I doubt it will get much change at Arsenal, but you never know. Brighton, maybe, but... So another couple of defeats, and the whole Eddie Howe question will just rise and rise and rise. And what we did a year ago will be totally forgotten by a large group of fans, no doubt. And the boos will continue. I'm obviously saddened and disappointed. I am, and have been an Eddie Howe supporter. I still am. However, these results are as bad as the season with Steve Bruce when we finished about 14th or 15th. War Flags did a great display. They basically put up banners for each of the first 11 black players to represent Newcastle United. Cunningham, Tony, came in the early 80s for Jack Charlton, who met him at the train station from the stories and the legends. So credit to War Flags and credit to Craig Hope for the photograph. So thank you for watching, and obviously I say enjoy the video. A lot of effort goes into what I produce. I enjoy doing it, and I will continue to do so through the good and the bad. And I've been through a lot of bad following Newcastle since the mid-60s, and I no doubt it will continue until we can resolve some of the current issues. It's going to be a transitional period, as you know. So if you do enjoy my videos, then subscribe, like, absolutely free. And if you're on TikTok watching this, hit the follow button. Thank you very much. I'm Ken. This is Inside the Toon. Final word report will be out in the next 24 hours or so. This is your final word report. Newcastle lost to Bournemouth at home 2-1, and Eddie Howe admitted Newcastle were below their normal level, with Bournemouth proving more clinical in the key moments. He said the game was tight overall, but the same defensive mistakes continue to cost the side, especially late on. Newcastle's troubles deepen as Bournemouth strike. So let's see how it played out, shall we? And hear what Eddie had to say after the game and what everyone else is thinking. Eddie Howe fronted up again for another painful result. He obviously said we were not at the right level. Bournemouth were sharper than us in the big moments, and the same defensive issue struck again. Obviously, the mood is flat, the frustration is clear, but Eddie Howe insists belief remains strong. Injuries to Tino and Anthony Gordon only added up to the problems, and we'll talk about that a bit later in this video. First of all, though, let's celebrate William Asula's goal. He finished it really well. He was strong, created by Bruno on the halfway line, challenging for the ball. VAR did look at it because Sula was slightly offside, level actually. However, it was the Bournemouth player that passed the ball back, so VAR agreed, and the goal stood, thankfully. So Eddie pretty much said everything that we're all thinking. We were flat. It's the same story. It's the same costly errors that we've had recently. Our confidence is shot, and it's a massive frustration. Newcastle continue to struggle badly for rhythm, belief, and consistency. And the recent form, just not acceptable, to be honest. And the performances and results have fallen below that level even. So his biggest frustration, repeating the same post-match messages with the same defensive mistakes costing Newcastle. Lost headers, missed runners, and a cross allowed into the box before the late goal. Even with all that said, in the added time of 9 minutes, and really once Bruno was on, you could see Bruno nearly scored here at the near post. Their goalie parried it away. Another day. That might have ricocheted into the path of Big Nick, who was on the hunt there, and a Sulla that was trying to get across the box in case it came back to him. Wasn't to be, though. Eddie continued in his post-match analysis with the journalist. You have to understand the rough and the smooth and take both sides of that, he said. I think the late goals, there was no reason for that to happen today. And that's been systematic of what's happened in recent games. Same mistakes, same frustration. So Howe said, obviously we're not at our best. The crowd was flat, and once again, poor defending in key moments proved costly. We've given up something like 19 goals in the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes of matches now. It's just not good enough. Nothing more to say, really. Yeah, how different it could have been at the end if Dan Burn could have kept the header down and put it in the net. You can see how close it was. So we didn't give up. That was, you have to say that about the team on the pitch at the end. They did not give up. But we are fragile. Bournemouth exposed us again with that late winner. For long spells, the contest was finely balanced, but Newcastle again paid the price for failing to manage decisive moments. Their winner stings. It leaves Newcastle wrestling with doubt. Another damaging defeat intensified the sense of drift on Tyneside as our side slipped further away from their aims. So if Tino's injury is bad as we fear when he came off holding his groin, then his England chances may have gone. And I do feel sorry for him. He's had about three. This might be the fourth major injury this season now. It does put something in my mind that says all his suitors, the Man Cities and Arsenals, etc., might be thinking twice if he has got this injury jinx that seems to follow him. A quick look at the stats. We'll dive into this in the final word report tomorrow at some point. Tap momentum. You can see the green in the second half. Newcastle did do better than they did in the first half. The big however is that Bournemouth got the goal. Their XG overall was 3 for the match and ours was 1.65. They had 4 big chances, we had 2. They deserved it, to be honest. 12 shots each, 1 save for us and 2 for them. So maybe we could have got a 2-all out of this. That was my prediction, to be honest. Corner count for Newcastle was really low today. Normally it's about 7 or 8, but today it was 2. Foul-wise, it was even, 11 for us and 12 for them. So it's not to be, and it's extremely disappointing. We go to Brighton next. We go to Arsenal next, then we got Brighton at home. Really need to get something out of those 2 matches. I doubt it will get much change at Arsenal, but you never know. Brighton, maybe, but... So another couple of defeats, and the whole Eddie Howe question will just rise and rise and rise. And what we did a year ago will be totally forgotten by a large group of fans, no doubt. And the boos will continue. I'm obviously saddened and disappointed. I am, and have been an Eddie Howe supporter. I still am. However, these results are as bad as the season with Steve Bruce when we finished about 14th or 15th. Besides losing, all the other teams did pretty much the same thing. I think we were 5 points behind 7th or 8th, and we're now 6 points behind 7th or 8th. However, with 5 games to go, and one of those being Arsenal next Saturday, I don't see us getting into Europe, to be honest, at all. And it will affect what we can do in the summer and the players that we can attract, because we are going to have some turnover, I believe. War Flags did a great display. They basically put up banners for each of the first 11 black players to represent Newcastle United. Cunningham, Tony, came in the early 80s for Jack Charlton, who met him at the train station from the stories and the legends. So credit to War Flags and credit to Craig Hope for the photograph. So all the other YouTubers expressed their frustration and disappointment. Some want Howe out. I don't at the moment. I want to see the season out, and then I want to see where we end up. But we're unable to turn things around. That's my belief in the pressure, and the decline will stay the same. It's relentless, to be honest. If you think of the season we've had, Champions League football, into the knockout round for the first time, semi-final League Cup, good FA Cup run. It's, these are the things that we begged for over the years. And the last 3 or 4 years have been fantastic. And that's why I don't want Eddie to go at the moment. I do want him to halt the slide, though, and the team. Having said that, everyone's got an opinion, and they have a right to an opinion. So the obvious question is, do you still believe Eddie Howe can turn this around? And how worried are you about Newcastle's current form? I think we're safe. So with 5 games to go, even if we lose all 5, I still believe we will stay up. A difficult afternoon for Newcastle at St James's Park. Something I've said quite often over the 60-odd years I've been following Newcastle. So next up is going to be Arsenal away. So that should cheer us all up. It'd be nice to put one over on them. However, I don't think that'll happen. So thank you for watching. If you like my videos, then hit the like button, subscribe on YouTube, all absolutely free. And on TikTok, exactly the same. Follow and like. And look out for my content this week. I'll produce content when it's relevant. Away the lads.